Well, guys, welcome back. You guys asked for it, so here it is, part 5. We're not gonna really do much work today. We're gonna do a little more showcasing, because guess what? This thing is basically roadworthy, and I really want to show you guys how it runs around the block, what we need to do differently, fix it up, and get it ready for the rocks. But right now, I'm just done changing the oil. A few days ago, I realized that I had an injector that was pouring gas on the passenger side. I ran it, and there was gasoline just pouring right out the exhaust. So I pulled apart the fuel rails, and I watched when I pulled the fuel rail, the front injector over here just was pouring gas out of it when it was disconnected. So obviously it was stuck, hung open. So I was kind of distraught. I started working on other projects, and I realized, guess what? I got some truck injectors laying around for my stock intake manifold. And these, luckily, these fuel rails from Jegs have a bunch of different holes on the mounting, so I can adjust the height of the fuel rails. And they just so happen to be at the lowest setting, the perfect height for truck injectors. So I got the truck injectors in, and now this thing runs so much better. For a cold start. You like Cherokees, I like Cherokees. You guys should subscribe to the channel. All we do is Cherokees here. Now that you got a sneak peek of this thing running, oh sorry, that thing, I got confused all the time, so many Jeeps. So now that we saw this thing running, let's go to the main important part. You guys want to see this thing go around the block, and you got to see it. Not only that, but let's go for a ride. You guys have been waiting, and I know that's really all you want to see. But if you guys are new to this channel, come take a peek. I want to go through everything on this Jeep and just show you what it's got. Real simple. I swapped out the motor for a 4.8 LS junkyard out of a van, and I kept the original transmission transfer case. I just got an adapter plate, and it works great. Other things that have changed on this Jeep have been the axles. It's got 8 lug axles out of an F250. And some custom suspension. Let's go take this custom creation for a ride. Don't tell anyone. This is a secret start procedure. My favorite part about my whole system is probably the Holly. If you look here, I got my computer system set up with all the diagnostics. It's got all my gauges I need, and I like it. Make this simple. I wish it was a little bigger, but other than that, it works out great.
You guys can't really tell, it's pretty darn loud in here. It's all open. The exhaust dumps right at the bottom, so we're going to be as loud as we can, but you might not hear a word we're saying. think there's maybe an air pocket or something in the rad still. These systems are a little funky, but we'll talk more about that later.
Scraping. You gotta be clean with the throttle on your foot or it just bucks. Oh guys, we bothered the neighbors enough. I really don't want to take it out too much because as you guys can hear, it's just open headers right now. It is collected, but I really need to finish up the muffler. The problem is, I've been really torn about how I want to do the muffler. Do I want to go all the way out the end, or do I want to try to bring it through? So guys, I'm really sorry. It wasn't a longer ride, but I just don't want to overheat this thing. I've been taking it out here and there, trying to bleed out the air pocket. It seems like I have some air pockets in the coolant, but I just can't seem to figure it out. I don't know, maybe you guys know more about these Novak rads, but it seems like the inlet and the outlet are on both on the same sides, and it seems like the coolant is kind of staying over here. It's not completely going through the radiator, and I'm, you know, distraught. I try to fill it up, I try to do a bunch of stuff, and you know, I can get the temperature to come down a little, but it's still not correct. Now, another issue I'm having is my coolant temperature sensor. It's reading 80 degrees when it's really 60 degrees out, or the other day it was reading 60 degrees when it was really 40 degrees out. So is it always 20 degrees off? So I'd also have to look into that. I think I'm gonna get a mechanical gauge and just run it right next to the head off the same sensor just to see, you know, I want to make sure that it's not the computer. Another issue that we're having is the tuning, like I talked about. You know, obviously it's running great, and when it's wide open throttle, it just has no problems. The air fuel ratios are great, but it just has that little bit of hesitation when you're, you know, in lower RPMs. And I really think that's a tuning issue. It might be because I have a 102mm throttle body and a 4.8, but I've heard of people getting away with it no problem. So there shouldn't be a reason why I can't do the same thing. Guys, I promise, next time we're gonna go for a longer ride, and we'll have an exhaust on this thing, and we can actually hear each other talk. So tune in next time, guys, and you'll see this thing back on the road.